Hi, welcome to Suplex the Sticks, a gaming podcast hosted by David and Seth.
Hello.
And Forrest.
Howdy.
Hello, friends.
Hello.
A Nintendo Direct happened,
It did.
so we have an episode this week. If there wasn't a Nintendo Direct, we would have waited.
Yep, as I said last week, if that one happened, then we would record, and it happened. And here we are.
Yeah.
Here we are. In
You made it come true, Seth.
Yeah, and it's, usually they happen on a Thursday, which is always annoying. Because
Yeah,
it's the day after we record.
Mhm.
But this time it was a Tuesday.
it's true. And
I'd like to keep it that way, to be honest.
they kind of happen on random. Yeah,
Yeah.
I get it, but Wednesdays are nice, just so that we can actually talk about
Yeah.
it.
Just as
Tuesdays
long
are
as it's
nice.
not Thursday.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's no good for anyone.
maybe a weekend one at one point. That would be nice. Seth, I feel bad
Okay.
that there was no Fire Emblem. added.
Yeah, I
But
was
the
real
problem-
upset.
But the
Because
problem
that's
is
what I went in expecting.
that
because of you.
but everyone that I listen to is very confused because the reports have been that it has been done for like 2 years. So it's one of those like Pikmin situations where it's
They'll release it when they choose
Yeah.
to release it.
Yeah.
which, as we saw in this direct, we'll get into it. I wonder how much of this they have been sitting on
And
for a
we're ju-
rainy day.
Yeah.
like
and
it's
we're
so-
just like, oh, we should probably get all this out before
Yeah. It's
the
Nintendo.
console's over.
right. It's Nintendo. The fact that they can do this stuff in the direct is wild.
Yeah. It's
So-
it is annoying to think that they sit on video games that are completed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's part of what makes them stay relevant. So
That's
you
true.
kind of can't hate it.
Yeah.
So, speaking of Nintendo, I have been playing a Nintendo game. I'm playing Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door. It's a fantastic Mario RPG. I think, I haven't met all the characters yet. I want to note, no one's as cool as Gino, but
Have you met Goombella?
yeah, she's definitely not as cool as Gino.
I didn't say she was.
Yeah.
Just
you
have
met-
you met her?
Yeah, I've met Goombella. She's your first companion you get.
You
So
meet her pretty much immediately.
yeah.
What if he said no?
Well, then I
Yeah.
would know that he hasn't been playing that
Well,
much as
I
he
also-
claims to
Or
have
he
been.
sequence broke it.
But I also have not used her since I got someone else because
All
she
does
is like the
tattle.
least. Yeah, she's like the
She's
least
a snitch?
effective one.
Yep.
Ugh.
yeah.
Get her out of
Um,
here.
I usually use the. Right now, I use a lot of the. I forgot her name.
don't know.
The cloud lady.
Look,
The
as I've
buxom cloud lady.
said in the past, I only played it for like an hour, which is how I know of Goombella and her ability.
This is another Hallmark Seth Roundtree game that you would love.
I would love it, and I want to play it.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's really good. It does a lot of stuff that I think Mario RPG did, but better, of course. But that's because it came out after and they had learned some
GameCube
stuff.
game
Yeah, it's
versus
a
a
GameCube game.
Super Nintendo game.
I'm talking about just mechanically with battles and stuff too. I'm interested to see where the rest of it goes. It is fantastic to be playing a Mario RPG where there's actual stakes and a leveling system and reasons to be doing things instead of Paper Jam. What was the recent one where Origami King? Origami King, where
Origami King.
the battles actually did nothing. They just were there. And so, I liked the boss battles in that game, but the rest of it was bad.
Yes. This is the last. There have been more Paper Mario games that aren't RPGs than there are than there are Paper Mario games, which are traditional RPGs.
Right.
Which is
There's
frustrating at this point, but
Yeah, they still have the turn-based system, but that doesn't mean that
Right.
they're RPGs. And the last one I think was maybe Super Paper Mario for the Wii. Was that
Super
one?
Paper Mario was a platformer.
Really? Okay,
Yes.
so I never played that one. So
After
all right.
Thousand Year Door was Super Paper Mario on the Wii, which a lot of people say is good for what it is.
Chris Maxwell. friend
It's
of
another
the
game
site,
I always wanted
loves
to
it.
play, but never did. Then we had Sticker Star on the 3DS, one of the worst games I've ever played.
Oh, that game is bad. That game is
Yes.
frustrating.
Then Color Splash, much maligned. Then I guess Origami King would have been after that.
Hold on, I'm looking at the list. So
Also a brief appearance in Mario and Luigi Paper Jam. One of the
worst
one of the
Mario
more-
and Luigi.
One of the more disappointing games that I've played.
Yeah. It's wild that on the Nintendo Switch, we have had 2 Paper Mario games and 3 Mario parties. And not one brand new Mario Kart, which is
Well, they
weird.
didn't really need, they didn't need.
hold
I
on,
don't
no,
think they've needed to
it's
release
hard.
a new Mario Kart.
I think I want to be fair. I do think that big DLC counts as one new Mario Kart. Like
Yeah,
they,
it was-
they
it was-
added a substantial amount.
It was a Mario Kart's worth of tracks,
Right.
even if they lacked the fidelity and the musical quality of the base game, and they were all just ripped from Mario Kart Tour. But
Yeah.
that's neither here nor there.
So I have been playing Thousand Year Door. I've been really enjoying it. It's great. I'm not trying to downplay it. It's just hard to talk about it a ton because it's what you know and love if you've already played it. If you haven't played it, I implore you to give it a shot. It runs great. The story's fun. There is really cool little RPG things in there where you just got to do like finding items for people and stuff, and like that just feels nice to figure out. One of the side quests I did was finding a hide and seek champion hiding in a castle that I had already gone through, so I had to go find him.
No
That was
longer the
kinda neat.
champion.
No, I found him.
Though, can you really call yourself?
He
I feel
did-
like you have to hide and not be found in order to
Right.
become the champion.
And so he said, I'm going to go hide somewhere else. So I feel like I'm going to have another mission where I have to go find him.
Absolutely.
it doesn't. It seems a little lopsided that he gets to hide a bunch of times.
Yeah.
It's
what
like
about when do you get to hide from him?
right.
I'm less interested in that.
Imagine a section of the game where you just went somewhere and waited in real time for him to show up.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would suck. That's like that Metal Gear Solid boss fight, I guess, where you wait until they die or something. What game
you
is that?
can. MGS3.
Yeah.
The battle against the End.
Yeah.
The old guy.
Yeah, you can wait and then he dies.
Because
Yeah.
of from old age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you if you start the battle, save the game, quit out of it, come back like a week and a half later, it's like, oh, he died.
Nice.
Good job.
I've also been playing a game.
Really, in theory, you could beat any enemy that way. It just take longer to wait.
It's a free-to-play arena shooter. I've been playing Star Wars Hunters, which is that Zynga arena shooter that has been announced for years now and finally came out. It's only on mobile and on the Switch. And let me tell you, it is really fun. And how they are monetizing it is through you can pay to unlock characters early. And that's basically how they're monetizing it. And buy skins for the characters. But you
They
can
don't
earn
have skin unless you buy it.
but you can earn the characters for free, and there's battle passes where it's something I actually wish Apex did, Seth, which is great, which is wild. So with every new battle pass, included in the battle pass is the new character for that season, and I really think that Apex could have done something cool with that, but instead they charge separate for both.
Yeah, and of course you can.
But they also didn't release characters that frequently.
Right.
So,
Certainly not one per season.
right.
And yeah.
But yeah, it's really neat. All the characters are really weird. I think I had discussed on here before that one of them is like a guy inside of a battle a droideka, which is the rolling the rolling droids. I haven't paid to unlock any characters because I actually really enjoy the 4 or 5 I have already. And the more you play with the characters, you can level them up. But from what I've seen, the stat differences that you get by leveling up the characters through play doesn't make a drastic difference between the character you get at the beginning and the character that it is by the end of you leveling it up.
Gotcha.
So that's pretty nice that that's not a pay to win type scenario with that. And I am now playing against real people. I've played it so much, which has turned the game around a little bit.
Kind of a
'Cause
weird sentence.
Right, but with these games, like even in Fortnite, you
Yeah,
can
there's
tell
bots
like
in there.
you can tell like at the beginning they want you to feel good about the season. So you're playing against a lot of bots. And then the more higher up in level you get, you're playing against real people. And so with these free to play games, you can tell at the beginning that okay, we're lopsidedly winning. I'm getting like 15 kills out of 25. So now it's much more even.
You know, I play. I was thinking about Fortnite. I would like to
What a
play.
rare
I would
phrase.
like to play a battle royale where it's only that I'm playing it with bots. Just me.
Yeah, just start the Fortnite season for the first like 5 levels, and that'll basically be it.
Yeah.
Trust me, it's wild that that's how it is. But they really want you to feel good at the beginning. But one of the things that I love about this is that it's not the longest game in the world. Like it's to 20 kills, or like the zone control mode is like you gather power really fast. So at most you're playing a match in like 3 minutes, maybe 5. So it's really nice to have that quick hit. So yeah, that's what I've been playing. I may have talked about Star Wars Hunters last episode.
You
but
did.
I still think it's really good. It's stuck with me, and it's a great backbone game, despite no vibration feedback, which always feels a little weird in a shooter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, God, I'm getting so bummed every time I put my backbone onto my phone, because I know that at the end of the year I'm going to have to buy another backbone, because it's going to be USB-C instead of Lightning.
Yeah.
And like I just keep thinking about it. That's going to be so frustrating. But it's fine. It's fine. It's how technology works.
Yep.
Now I'll just be able to charge my phone more places, because USB-C is a better port anyway.
Yeah.
so-
True.
It should have been how it was.
It is becoming the standardized port around these parts.
It's the way it
It
should have
was-
been
yeah.
since the beginning.
And
Yes.
it was only Apple's obstinacy that.
Right.
Held it back.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thanks, EU, for
Yeah.
forcing Apple to do this.
Good old court system.
Yeah.
We love when they work.
Sometimes they work on behalf of the consumer.
Yeah. Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Yeah. Seth, what have you been playing?
I played a few things in the past week. So, first of all, the big news, I uninstalled Skyrim from my PS5.
Okay.
Wow.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I was just like,
Good
I was
job.
at a point where I was like, I don't want this to be available for me to play anymore.
Did you archive it too, so you couldn't see it again?
No, I mean, it removed it from the home screen. So,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah, it was just like, all right, I've put too much time in this game for the nth time.
How much in this latest run do you think you did?
I don't know. Certainly the amount of time that I could have played a whole other game in.
A whole other Hollow Knight. We could have
Probably, yeah.
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 And there's nothing against Skyrim, of course. It's just like, all right, I need to stop doing this. I could play this game infinitely, and there are other games that I like playing. Of course, I went back to Rise of the Ronin, and you know, I'm finding that there was a long stretch that I went without playing, and I was only playing Skyrim, and I think it was strange that I didn't really in the whole time feel like I wanted to go back. it's a fun game to play, but it just didn't have the hooks in me like other Team Ninja games have. But I started playing it and I got to the third map of the world. At the beginning of the game, you're in. I can't even remember what the first city was. It was somewhere in Japan, and then you move to Edo, which is now Tokyo, and then the final city of the game that you're in is Kyoto.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, you have to make a choice of which side of the conflict you want to join. And I was just like, I'm just going to save this game, and I don't know that I want to continue playing. Because one, it's like, I don't know that I want to make a choice. Like, I know it happened historically, but I'm not sure that I want to lock into either side. And on the other hand, it's like, I don't know how much, like, drive I have to continue playing this game.
Right.
Especially for a story that I'm not really super invested in the characters. Like, I like the characters, but it's, I don't know, it's just sort of missing a bit of something. And I think the open world for what it is fine, but as I've said before, I do think that it preys on some of my bad gamer tendencies and my need to go and compulsively go out and get everything that's possible before moving on. And it certainly interrupts the flow of what is happening in the story for me. So I think that's probably played into me not becoming as invested in the story as I could have been. But I don't know. It's, they decided to do something different for this game, and parts of it work, and parts of it, but also because that is kind of not drawing me back in the way that their previous games have. So I don't know if I'll go back to it. If I don't and I left it off here, I think I would say it's a perfectly fun game, especially if you are like interested in that period of Japanese history.
Yeah.
But I would recommend other Souls-like games over it. There's other open world games I'd probably recommend over it, but I do think it's a solid. They've created a solid game here, though it does lack a bit of the flair I think that some of their previous games have had.
What are they working on now?
Who knows? We didn't know about Rise of the Ronin until it was debuted.
Yeah. And they have to have like 3 teams inside of them.
Yeah, because it seemed like...
It seems like they have something coming out every 6 months.
Yeah, it's crazy. I know that it won't be Neo, which is unfortunate.
Team Ninja. I'm going to see if they have anything on...
Maybe they can contact Capcom and they could collaborate on making Deep Down.
That's not going to happen.
I know, it's not going to happen. What else?
Their last game that was announced was Rise of the Ronin.
Yeah,
so.
announced. I'm sure they're making DLC for it, because that's what they have done, is they have released like 2 or 3 story DLC packs. And of course, I don't really know where this game ends. I know that certain characters can die depending on the choices you make. But I'm sure there is important stuff in history that happened after the end of this game. So lots of historical figures to bring in and for you to get into big boss battles with and kill them. Let's see, what else do I want to talk about? I downloaded Wild Frost again, and I've played a bit of that. I believe I don't remember the last time I talked about the game. It had to have been when it first released, and
It was a card game, right?
yeah, it's a rogue-like deck builder in the vein of something.
Say the line. It's like-
Yep. It's got great art, great music. I remember when I first downloaded it thinking it was fun, but it was really too difficult. And so it kind of turned me off and I uninstalled it. I was reading some article popped out about a update that had come out and I had read that it had gotten a bit easier. And that was true. It is now actually a game that you can complete a run with. And it didn't, I think in maybe the second or third try after downloading the game and starting it back up, I was able to actually get to the boss and beat it. And then there was a cool twist that I wasn't expecting, in that the party that you bring to, you have at the beginning of each run you select a one of three randomly generated player characters, sort of, that have different attack power and health and stuff like that. And as you go along, you can recruit. You get other cards that are other companions that are characters that you put into battle, and then all the rest of the cards are just one-use items. And so your party that you bring into that final battle, they then become the boss at the end of the next run, but they're super powered versions of them. So, you spend the whole run kitting out these main characters and making them really hard to kill, and then you come back the next time and it's like, oh, all of these things that I built, all of these overpowered characters that I built to get me through this, I now have to figure out ways to get around. And then after that, it took me a bunch of tries to figure out how to get back, because they were way too powerful.
Didn't what's it called do something like that?
I don't know what's it called.
It's another card game that I played on my PlayStation. Oh my God, I cannot remember the name of it.
What was it?
Spooky one.
Spooky one. Spooky card game.
For some reason I can think of the Lucky Carter, but I can't think of the name of the game.
Lucky Carter.
Yeah, that was the YouTuber. The Lucky Carter. And then
Inscription.
Inscription.
Sort of.
Because they would be like, oh, this was your most powerful one. Now it's in our side. That's kind of, but it's not like the boss of the run.
Right.
No spoilers, but Final Fantasy X kind of does something like that.
I forgot about the Lucky Carter. When you said that, I was like, I know that name, but I can't remember what it was from. It's a cool feature. Apparently there is a true final boss. I haven't played it enough times to get through that.
It's probably Jekt.
Yeah, it could be. Or Gacked.
No, it could be Jekt. Yeah, there you go.
Let's go.
I just said that because it's very similar to something that happens in Final Fantasy X. But I'm just, yeah.
I got that from your previous Final Fantasy X reference, I figured. It's... I can say now that if you were to start that game, it's it's completely playable game, whereas before I thought it was frustratingly balanced in the enemies, in the computer's favor. So good job, Wild Frost developers. Music in is also really good, very fun to listen to. Another thing I want to talk about now, this is mainly for Forrest. We all know Inti creates.
Creates games.
Yes, they make a bunch of games that are sort of in the vein of what Mega Man Zero was,
which they also create.
Yes, were they?
Yeah.
They were just part of Capcom, though, right?
I don't know if they were originally Capcom subsidiary or if they were just a third party that Capcom kept partnering with until a certain point.
Yeah, I wasn't sure, because I know that the actual Mega Man like developers created the concept of Mega Man Zero. But anyways, they make a bunch of games that are sort of like Mega Man Zero, and also with Castlevania influences. And I've played a good number of their games. They're usually all pretty solid. So they recently have released a game called Umbra Claw, which is
That sounds like a cool name.
Yeah.
I only played the demo because, the reason why I want to talk about it because I think there's an interesting mechanic which I have read in the full game. It's neat, but it doesn't really work. It seems to have a sort of Mega Man like structure.
Oh yeah, I also played the demo for this a few weeks back.
Yeah, and but also there seems to be some kind of Metroidvania stuff going on. But the idea, the pitch of the game is that you are a cat who has died and is in whatever their version of the underworld is. And if you are able to go and collect these 4 keys, you can then open the gates and return back to life to be with your owner. So, but you're just a little cat. All you can do is run and jump, and you can crawl and stuff. And when you're in boss battles, you do have this ability to sort of dodge through enemies' attacks, and that will do damage to them. But otherwise, you don't have any way to damage them. That is until you get hit and lose all your health. The cat, there's a trope of the cats having 9 lives. So each time you get hit and die, you come back to you revive in that moment, but like empowered by the spirit of another animal that gives you an ability that you can use.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And there's definitely a pool of more than 9 of them. So like one of them is a lion roar, which is just a damaging attack, or there's like a crow that gives you a double jump. So it's an interesting concept, in that the way to power up your character is that you have to you have to get hit and lose this finite amount of lives. But then at some point, once you start losing more and more, this cutscene happens where it seems like something as bad is going to happen. But you can eventually absorb this, like the spirit of a human, and then the cat takes on this big bipedal feral form with like a full like set of regular attacking moves.
Oh crap.
And all the skills that you have acquired get like super powered. So the double jump becomes like an infinite jump depending on how much stamina you have.
Nice.
But the game is also telling you like if you can choose to stay this way, but things may not turn out the way you want to if you remain in this form. Because like I guess if this giant cat monster went back to the real world, then its owners probably wouldn't like them. And the bosses that you fight are also spirits of dead animals that have absorbed human spirits and are in like these monstrous forms.
Oh.
It's very interesting. I think it's a neat concept. The thing is, I've read the reviews say that through the course of the game, maybe they like stumble a bit on actually
Executing on
for the full length of a game, which is kind of a bummer. But it's a cool experience, and for a demo, like I'm sure that after you defeat the 4 bosses and get the 4 keys, there's more stuff. But based on the idea that there's 4 keys to open this door, the demo lets you play 2 of the bosses, go through like 2 full areas.
Oh wow.
So it's a pretty extensive demo as far as what they seem to be offering versus what is in the rest of the game. But it was neat. It was a neat little experience. Kind of makes me want to play the whole game, but I've seen all the reviews. I'm like, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But it's Inti Creates. They kind of all of their stuff is sort of, it's good, but
There's always a but with it. Unfortunately, like I mean, I loved that studio when they were doing Mega Man stuff, but the moment they started doing Azure Striker Gunvolt, I was like, man, this looks great. But then I like played it, and I was like, it's not for me.
it's a strange game. But I enjoyed those games.
Yeah. It's like every time I try a new entry from them, there's like, man, this is like there's a solid groundwork here, but there's this one thing that is making me not enjoy
And
it
visually,
as much as I know I could.
they're all slick looking games.
Yeah.
Because they very much have that sort of Game Boy Advance aesthetic.
Yeah, they're still working with the pixel art. It's awesome.
Yeah, they're good at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're an interesting little company.
Oh, so I looked it up
making
before.
games.
Inti Creates was formed by 10 ex-Capcom employees, but they still worked with Capcom for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess they were always independent. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Which I guess means we'll never get ZX3.
That's a shame.
Rate.
That's a shame.
Unless if Capcom does it internally.
I don't know that there's much more ground to tread in that
Wrong.
that universe. I'd much rather a Mega Man Legends 3.
Why not both? And then ZX3 bridges the gap.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's quite a large gap to bridge.
I just want a new Mega Man.
Although
That too.
At this
they
point.
do say that Legends is way in the future. Like super future.
Like 40XX.
Yeah, but it's sort of a post-apocalyptic type thing
Yeah.
where the world has built itself back up.
See, I'm
and
telling you,
everywhere's
ZX3
flooded.
could be the apocalypse.
I guess so.
At this point, I kind of just want a new Mega Man that's its own thing.
Yeah.
Not like a reboot, but
yeah,
like
yeah.
just a new story.
Yeah. I would like.
I don't disagree.
I would like a new Mega Man X. I think because the last major Mega Man release we got was for classic Mega Man. It would be cool to get a new X.
What about a X Command Mission 2?
Yeah, I'd take that.
I never played Command Mission.
It was neat. Good game. Had the coolest form of Zero.
It's true. I also would say it had the coolest form of X.
Yeah, the Ultimate Armor X it's wacko, but
Even just his base armor, I think his base
Yeah.
design is like the
with
coolest
his
in the whole
energy
franchise.
scarf.
It's yeah.
Yeah, he's neat.
Good stuff.
Oh, you love an energy scarf.
Yep. Completely superfluous.
Yeah.
It doesn't serve any purpose.
No, but
It looks
cool. Awesome. No Mega Man at this Nintendo Direct.
Yeah,
but other
unfortunately.
Capcom
No,
things.
There was
so-
Mega Man is in that, technically speaking.
Yeah, Mega Man. is
True, he is
technically-
technically in this direct.
Yeah.
There was a rumor before before Summer Game Fest that Capcom had another Mega Man game, but also seemed to be a lot of rumors about Capcom showing stuff, and then they just showed Monster Hunter.
And Kimitsu.
I
Dami or
have
whatever it
a
was.
feeling that Gamescom is going to be wild this year.
Yeah.
So I know at least Paris. I think his name is Vicious Paris on Twitter.
That's a cool name.
He is a gaming journalist, a solo guy. He does YouTube and he guests on Kind of Funny.
So he's not a Japanese woman
No,
pretending to
no,
be
no,
or a white man.
Or
No,
a white
no,
man
no.
pretending to be
Right.
a Japanese woman.
So he said that he talked to Xbox higher ups at their event where you got to play some of the stuff that they showed during the
Summer game.
the thing, and
Yeah.
they said that I guess they were very confident, and I think I said this last week, but they were really excited for Gamescom. They're
Yeah.
like, wait till you see what we have for Gamescom. And that's where Hollow Knight Silksong is going to be. That has to be where it's going to be, because it wasn't
come at
at this
some point.
Direct. And, just kicking that can down to August, and it's okay. We're going
This
to
is
be
why I
all
haven't
right.
played it yet, because there's just been no Silk Song.
I mean, that's fair. Dan Reichert, because of expecting Silksong this past weekend, started it. And he's like 7 hours in and is like, this game is fantastic. Why have none of you told me to play it. And everyone's really mad at him for being this way about it because they've all been yelling at him to play it.
Yep.
So, I mean,
Fun stuff.
Forrest has got it now. He's
Yeah.
bought it.
I bought it and downloaded
downloaded.
it earlier tonight.
Nice.
And
It was only $15.
the Maxwells are
Look.
pretty deep into it.
If I had $15 on my Switch, I would use 3 of it to buy this other game that I want, and then I wouldn't have enough to get it.
So let's talk about this direct. I did not.
Can you believe they didn't show the Switch 2 after
Yeah.
they said they weren't
wouldn't
going
go-
to?
Yeah.
I can believe it. This direct was wild. I did not expect to be this excited after
Yeah,
this direct.
yeah.
I definitely didn't expect as much brand new first party games as
I'm,
were in
I'm
this.
telling you, they just had a bunch of this stuff on the shelf and we're like, oh crap, we've got to get these out before the new console.
Maybe.
I think that is entirely the thought process here. And you know what? I'm cool with it because this was maybe one of the best directs I've ever seen.
I wouldn't go that far.
I would
But
say
I
for
also
me.
went into this direct fully expecting the Fire Emblem that David told me was going to be in it.
Yeah.
So was
And then
everyone.
and then it wasn't there.
I thought we almost got it during the Zelda reveal.
Yeah.
That Zelda reveal trolled me.
Really?
I thought when it was like holy line, like when it was like I was like, oh, this is it. And then no, it was Zelda, which I'm not saying that in a bad way because I am very excited for that game. But boy, if you had had me put up together a bingo card, I would not have guessed we were getting a new Mario and Luigi game.
Especially starting the show with this.
Yeah.
Yes. So I thought it looked good.
Their combo attacks looked rad.
I
Well, they
love
always-
the
they
art
always look
direction
rad.
for it. It's just the cover art for every single Mario and Luigi game.
Yeah. I mean, this is. Look, this is. I think is a natural evolution of what they were doing on 3DS when they moved into the sort of faux 3D world that
Yeah.
they had. I mean, it was 3D but with sprites, and now they've sort of gone more in that direction. I'm really curious who is making this game.
Yeah, because the studio got closed down a while ago.
Alpha Dream shut down in 2019, I believe.
It
think
could
so.
be Intelligent Systems because they
Maybe
They-
they made Paper Mario.
finished that Advance Wars and then have been doing nothing as far as we know. And that Advance Wars was done a long time ago as far as we know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I don't know. I think it's equally as likely that it's some random third party that they
Yeah.
contracted out and are not going to tell us who it is until the game actually comes out.
Yeah.
I just hope it's good.
It's called Brothership.
Yes,
And it
Mario and Luigi
'cause there's a
Brothership,
ship.
which is a
And they're
Which is
brothers.
rad.
yes.
As you know, Mario and Luigi are brothers.
Yes, they have very good titles, these Mario and Luigi games. Hopefully better than Paper Jam.
yeah, that is
But it's also tough to know what to expect because, Alpha Dream created this. And then as their last new one was Paper Jam, which was kind of the worst one. But also Paper Jam came out in a time where it seemed like Nintendo was mandating no original creations in Mario games. And so all of the enemies in that were just, the standard Mario fare.
Yeah.
Whereas every other Mario and Luigi game created wholly unique enemies to fight against, which was part of the charm.
And these people are electrical outlets.
Yeah, and
Which
so
is and they're called the electric core.
I think that was
which is cool.
that was
Yeah.
the thing that I was happiest to see is that it was, a unique type of ne'er-do-well versus just Bowser and his Koopalings. Of course, Bowser will show up. He always
Yeah.
does.
He might even be on your team a little bit.
Probably not. They've done that already.
Yeah. But it's possible. I mean, it's going to be cool. I'm very excited for this. It comes out in November, which I also would not have guessed.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff that they obviously had sitting and waiting.
I mean, they were clear that this was going to that this was going to show games that were sort of going to fill the rest of the year and through the winter.
Yeah.
So it's not a super surprise to see stuff that's coming out this year.
Um,
But it is always a surprise when it's a game that you didn't know existed.
right.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
Coming
saying
out
is
in
that
mere
it's
months.
Yeah.
it's like we got 2 of those this time.
But I feel like we say that every single Nintendo Direct. It's like, we didn't know about this, and now it's coming out next week.
yeah.
They just do that.
Yeah.
And it's fun.
Nintendo World Championships NES Edition, a game that they announced
Yes.
a little bit ago.
It's weird that they announced that by itself.
Yeah. I think it's because it got leaked pretty hard.
That could be true.
It got leaked really hard. Like I think a listing got leaked. And so I think they probably
It's just weird
were
because it
forced
was
to do
far enough away from the Direct. Like, this was 2 or 3 weeks ago that the game
Yeah.
was announced. That you would figure, okay, they're not going to put it in the Direct. They already did their random Twitter post announcing it. But here it was. We got a little bit. Yeah, this game is what it is.
it'll be cool. Depending on how much it is, if I bother.
I think it's
yeah.
like $40.
Yeah, that's probably too much. For
It
me.
seems like it should be one of those things that they give you for free for having the Switch Online expansion pass.
Yeah, I agree with that. Especially if you have the higher tier like me.
Yeah.
Fairy Tale 2, the long-awaited sequel to Fairy Tale 1.
Yeah. Not even the best
We-
series from this creator.
I think it's
From
funny.
what I can tell, this is Sasuke fighting Bakugo, and
Kind of looks like it.
I don't.
Bakugo, but if he had Naruto's personality,
I mean, I don't know anything about these people.
Yeah, I don't know anything about Fairy Tale. I will say
that's
that
fine.
from just based on the trailer, I don't think this game looks bad. I won't play it, of course.
Well, yeah.
But I think it's funny that the anime is called Fairy Tale, and obviously there was a first game that was called Fairy Tale. But it's just funny to me that this is Fairy Tale 2.
Yeah.
It's like this is the sequel to the
Yeah,
anime Fairy Tale.
I'm not gonna steal the joke without accrediting it. Turbo Sean on the Giant Bomb feed was like, "This is like someone releasing a game called Dragon Ball Z 2."
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I
with
was
no
just thinking.
subtitle.
It feels like, we're
yeah,
back in like
it's
the
like-
90s.
it's
with
just
so
like-
weird.
these things.
just like
Uh,
it's so weird to just call it
it's
2.
yeah,
like
it's
put
really
a
weird.
subtitle, put something.
But
No,
it has to
just-
only be because there was a game called Fairy Tale.
Right, I'm sure there was.
It's just very funny that
Yeah.
it's just the name of the anime.
Even
with a
in
2
that
at
one
the end.
Naruto game I played that was like an open world and just told the story of the anime
Yeah.
on Xbox
I think
360.
it was Path of the Ninja.
Yeah, that had a subtitle,
Naruto
and the
2.
sequel had a subtitle instead of having a number next to
Yeah.
It's
it.
weird,
It's very
but
weird.
funny.
Yeah, never gonna play it.
No.
Fantasia Neo Dimension, the
So y-
Apple Arcade.
This
game.
looked really cool
You-
to me, and then you went, "Oh, that game that's been stuck on Apple Arcade for a few years," and I went, "Aw."
Yeah, I thought this was a big surprise. I started to play Fantasian once on my Backbone.
Oh.
Did not get very far into it. As in, like, I played it for like 30 minutes.
Characters
I
look
was
like
"All
they
right."
run weird. This-
I couldn't tell you anything about it. I think it's very cool though that this is coming to a console. This is the game that obviously it's made by the guy who created Final Fantasy.
Good old Hironobu
With music.
Sakaguchi.
Yeah,
From-
with music from Nobuo Uematsu,
Uematsu.
the composer of such hits as the Battle Theme. All of them. I mean, look,
Yeah,
a lot-
basically
they're,
every single
they're
one.
all good.
The man writes bangers
Yes.
through and through.
But the coolest thing about this game is that all of the sort of pre-rendered environments that you move through are handmade dioramas.
Oh, that's
Yo?
right. That is the
Yeah.
unique part of this game is that they're all dioramas.
And so
Ah.
I think that's like the most exciting thing. Not the most exciting thing, because, people say it's a good game, with a sort of nothing story, but being able to see those in like on the TV and full screen should seem like they would be cool. But yeah, this was a big surprise.
It
And
was.
a cool thing to come to console.
The other game that's free from Apple Arcade Jail is the Hello Kitty Animal Crossing like,
yes.
which a lot of people like that game. So, if you want that type of game,
there is a pipeline of Apple Arcade games coming to Switch
yeah,
in about
2 to 3 years after
Yeah.
they've been on Apple Arcade.
though it's been more recent lately, depending on the game.
Basketball is coming to Nintendo Switch Sports.
Yes.
The game I famously bought and traded in after no one would play with me. So there you go. I own that game.
I don't know that I ever had an opportunity to play it with.
I've
you.
asked multiple people to play it, and everyone would be like, that's too much work.
Yeah, it's just we've moved out of the Wii. I feel like people would be more likely to just play Wii Sports than they would to play Nintendo Switch Sports.
The controller
Yeah.
isn't as fun to do the
Yeah.
motion stuff with
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it's so much smaller. It's not as nice
you-
feeling.
Do you remember when we were like in Walmart and
Yeah.
we did the basketball 3-point shooting contest?
Yes, for
No,
like
yeah.
hours
Yeah, we can do
At
but that's in
Walmart.
Nintendo Switch Sports now.
at 1 a.m.
Jesus.
Oh, back in the good days when you could go to Walmart at 1 a.m.
Yeah.
And play video games.
They couldn't stop you. We did it.
Yeah, it's not like that time Best Buy told me to stop yelling at at Rock Band.
They had a rock band set up, and that's their fault.
Look, if they didn't want people to sing, they wouldn't have put out the microphone.
Yeah.
And they had the microphone out. And so it's not our fault
Foolish Best Buy.
that Living on a Prayer was on the list.
Yeah, and listen,
And-
if you're gonna sing that song, you gotta go for
You
it.
have to.
You have to. And I did. And then they asked me to stop. They didn't ask me to leave. They just asked me to stop.
Yeah, we played too many games at Best Buy.
Yeah.
Played a lot of FIFA.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of
I played
FIFA.
through all of Mario baseball.
Baseball. You did play through
What?
all of
The whole
Mario
game.
Baseball.
I sat there one day and played the whole game.
It's insane.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
whole day?
The whole game.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was the whole day, but it was the
you
whole
got
game.
through the whole game. That's insane. I love that.
Back when you could do that. Mio Memories in Orbit, which looked like Ori meets Hollow Knight, and I'm
Yeah, this one looked
Here for
neat.
that.
It had a cool art style.
It makes, to me, this game looks like it was made by the team that did the Metroid 2 remake and Metroid Dread. Something about it
Mercury
just
Steam.
feels like a Mercury Steam game to me.
Interesting.
And I mentioned that earlier.
I don't
tonight
really
to
remember
David.
this. What type of game is it?
It's like Ori and
Yeah.
Hollow Knight. It looks very Ori-esque. Ori-esque.
And like those wisps
Oh,
of
right.
light coming from
I
your
remember
head
the beginning
are
of
like
it.
spider legs, too.
You come out of this weird tube apparatus.
Yeah, and you've got like light tendrils and
Yeah.
but that's only
That's
part
right.
of it. That's one of your traversal options and stuff. Yeah. There's a DLC that came out that day for Disney Illusion Island, which was a fantastic game. Go buy it and play
Seems
it.
to turn into some kind of murder mystery.
I know. I'm really excited. I have to wait for the Maxwells to have time to play it because we played through all of the first one together. So
I would imagine this is probably a like single sitting type of thing.
well, the original game was a 2-sitting. We beat it in, I would say, probably 6 to 8 hours.
Nice.
But let me tell you that I mean I bet that the new game is a single sitting possibly.
Sure.
Anyone's welcome to be our fourth. We have a Mickey, Minnie, and Donald, and
You need a
no
Sora.
no one's a Goofy.
I'll be a Goofy.
Yeah, so because it's drop in, drop
And I'll
out.
be Sora.
This- just sitting there playing on your Switch, yelling at people.
yeah.
Looney Tunes Wacky World of Sports. This looked bad.
Yeah,
This-
yeah.
But I mean, I guess Lola Bunny's in it. So for
It's
all you
true.
freaks out there,
No Michael Jordan, even though they were clearly playing basketball.
yeah,
Or LeBron. Seems like a missed opportunity.
Among Us.
Yes, the thing that leaked the direct
Yes.
was in the direct.
Farmaja, the Olive Garden
this-
running simulator.
This was the weirdest trailer.
It's
It
so
started
many
out
games in
as
one.
like a freaking like Harvest Moon, farming game, but then it turns out the things you're farming and you're pulling off of these sprouts are monsters, like living animals that you then take into battle against other monsters. It looked absolutely insane, and I want it.
Of course you want it.
It looks ridiculous. It has a terrible name. The world. What was the name of the world they live in? Like Bienvenidos or something like that.
Oh, no, it's
it was-
Felicidad.
Yes.
Felicidad, which
Felicidad.
is just happiness.
Yes.
In Spanish.
The world of Felicidad.
And I made a note about that. I'm like, oh, we're just
Why are my friends this way?
Like-
why does this attract you?
because it
When you
looks
could play like Hollow
so
Knight.
weird. Hollow Knight doesn't look weird. It looks like a
Whoa,
Metroidvania.
there is so much weird stuff in Hollow
Okay,
Knight.
but it visually has interesting and unique things in it. The gameplay of it doesn't look weird.
Okay,
This looks
right.
weird.
Yeah, I get it.
I think the key art for this game is by the same guy who made Fairy Tail. It looks exactly like Hiro
really-
Mashima's art.
It really does.
I have not found confirmation of it yet, but it just looks like his art. There's no mistaking it.
Also, I love a good Japanese game that has just the dumbest sounding words in it. The dumbest sounding proper nouns.
Yeah, yes, you do.
Like Monsties.
Yes, like monsters.
Um,
All the reviews for that game say it's very good, and it's really confusing me.
Donkey Kong Country Returns HD.
Woohoo!
Finally, maybe
it
I'll
is
play
Hiro
this game.
Mashima,
I knew it. I'm telling you, man.
creator of Fairy Tail, Eden Zero, Rave Master.
Yeah.
Rave Master.
Yeah,
That's it.
man.
That's
That's
the
his
what.
best
That's the thing
work.
in my brain. It's like I know this looks like something.
That's
know.
his best work.
So finally, maybe I'll play this game after buying it on the 3DS and then never playing it.
Yeah,
game.
I think I'm trying to remember what did I own it on. I must have also owned it on 3DS. I remember playing some of it on Wii and be like, I'm not interested in this, and then playing it on 3DS and thinking, still not interested in this. Everyone says it's really good. I think there's, of course, I don't really like just pure platformers. I never really liked the original Donkey Kong Country games.
Right.
So, I don't know. Something about the way that this game operates is just not for me. But people say it's great. And
I
people
mean-
say Tropical Freeze is great, but something about it just
Tropical
doesn't
Freeze was
interest me
great, and then
either.
I got to the final boss and then quit. So the boss was too hard, and I decided I don't want to interact with this anymore. I tried for like 3 days in a row. I tried on that final boss, and I couldn't do it, so I gave up. But yeah, I'll play that maybe. I don't know. It's going to be out January 16th. Who knows? Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D remake coming in November 14th. This game is going to destroy me.
Why?
I'm going to
He's gonna
play
be,
this
He's gonna
so
barrel
much.
through this.
Yeah, this game...
It looks so good.
So I don't really have any interest in Dragon Quest as
but this is the best
as
time
a
to jump
concept,
on.
but
This is
it looks...
you love Dragon Quest 12. It was like your game of the year forever.
I don't think
You love
that was
game.
true.
I'm kidding.
I don't think
What
Dragon
was the
Quest
full
12
title again?
exists.
Dragon Quest 11?
Yeah,
Was it 11?
Dragon Quest 11. Oh, what was the full title? I know it.
Echoes of
an
an
elusive
I
age.
thought it was Sky.
No, Elusive
Okay.
Age. You're thinking of Sentinels of the Starry Sky, which
Oh,
is
so
the
true.
other title that I can remember. I never played that game, but it's got a good. That's a good title. Yes, Echoes of an Elusive Age. The Elusive Age they are referring to that is Dragon Quest 3.
Oh.
That game is essentially a prequel to this. Sort
So,
of.
yeah. Speaking of, so at the end of this trailer for the Dragon Quest III remake, they're like,
Yes, we got to
something
learn
about
the
start
weird,
from
the weird
beginning.
timeline of the first 3 Dragon Quest
Yeah,
games.
they go start from the beginning.
the Erdrick
with this, or
trilogy.
like the tale begins or something like that. And I'm like, and I made a joke. I'm like,
Yes.
you idiots, you can't begin at 3. And then they announced a 1 and 2 remake
Yeah,
as well. And I'm like, son
it's
of a
very
gun.
funny.
And they're like, because 3 takes place before those. And I'm like, God, I've been
So it's like
made
Fast and Furious.
I've been made a
Yeah.
fool.
Yeah, but Dragon Quest 11, it's really confusing the way that it ties in. But at the end of Dragon Quest 11, there's this cutscene where a mother is reading.
spoiling it. But I
This
mean,
game that we're never gonna play.
Yeah, it's a very long game. You're never gonna play it.
I played through the demo of it, and I'm like, God, this is so much.
At the end of Dragon Quest 11, you like the story ends, and then you cut to this. I think it's a woman reading the story of what happened out of this book to her son, and her son is Erdrick, the player character of Dragon, at least implied to be. And I guess Erdrick is like a title that is based off the hero Erdwin, who was like in the lore of Dragon Quest XI. It's very confusing, but it was a neat little tie-in for people who were fans. I, of course, had never played Dragon Quest III. Never really been interested in Dragon Quest until I played 11. But this game visually looks absolutely stunning.
Yeah,
it's in
this
the
is-
HD 2D, of which I have played, Triangle Strategy, which I loved. Octopath Traveler's also in there. Haven't played that. Live Alive was in that. It looked great. This probably looks the best out of all of them so far.
oh yeah, for sure.
It's also been in development, I think,
Yeah, for a long time.
the longest out of every single one of those projects.
It looks absolutely great. I definitely want to play this.
Yeah, it's
And then get to play the sequel, Dragon Quest 1.
that's what makes me excited is that like this is like a large
Yeah, I think it is.
this is a
I think
large
it's
meal
cool
of
that they are.
RPGs.
This is the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth project
Yes,
of Dragon Quest.
Because here's the thing, I've always been Dragon Quest curious. Like the problem is that like Dragon Quest 11 wasn't something that I felt like I could jump onto.
Yeah.
I tried,
You
but
should
like,
try out Dragon Quest Monsters.
no, no. There's nothing about that interests me.
I mean, it's just like it's like a Pokemon game, but you catch the monsters from Dragon Quest,
I know.
and then you can feed them to each other and fuse them together. And it's
But,
really
like,
weird.
This is the one instance where I really liked the character in Smash that I had no clue or attachment to. So I don't know. I am really excited for this. I was excited when they announced it, and I've been excited since, waiting for more news. And then the leaks came out where like they were like, "Oh, now it's the first 3,"
Yeah.
and then my brain started like
Yeah.
getting on fire.
Yeah, people were talking about like they were going to be one whole package, but according to this, they're going to be separate releases.
But
Which is also
1
fine.
and 2 is going to be one package. It looks like the logo is together.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if those games are shorter or what the
Probably.
like.
I think that
3 is like I just looked
3
up.
might
It's
have
like
been on
30
Super
to 40.
Nintendo, so I don't know.
But yeah, I'm excited. Looks cool.
I hope the
Fun.
music is good because the
Yeah.
music in 11 was not good.
Yeah. Funko Fusion.
I didn't like this.
Yeah.
This trailer made me mad.
You didn't love seeing the Funko Pops from Nope and
Nope.
the Funko Pops from Invincible and the Funko Pops from
Jurassic Park.
Five Nights
Freddy
at
got
Freddy's
fingered.
fighting each
Oh,
other in
man.
a shooter.
That is a cut.
No, I didn't like it. That's to answer your question.
This-
I did not like it.
This just looks like it could have been a Lego game. It would
Right.
have been more enjoyable.
And it would have a better art style.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you, but don't you love it? It's all the IP you love.
No.
They're all here. All the stars are here.
Yeah.
As you said on Discord, I hate things when they're based on IP. So
This is true.
I could never ever like this.
And for right now, I'm with you on this.
But Ramona Flowers is there with her hammer. Don't you?
I could just play the Scott Pilgrim game.
And oh look, Forrest, there's Nightwing. You gotta love Nightwing.
Does that window
One of
open
my-
up right
you
there?
love
One of my
Nightwing.
great humiliations.
Seth, can you
was
check
when
if that window opens? I'm
course
gonna
it
Look,
opens.
I'm gonna
Voltron.
jump out of it.
Voltron's there. Everyone's here.
All right. One of my great humiliations is the time that I was with a group of friends at Target, and I bought a board game that I thought looked cool, and we got back to the house to play it, and one of my friends looks at the back and she says, sorry to tell you this, but did you know that this is a Funko game? Not Funko is in the game, but it was like published by
Branded by
Funko,
them.
and I was
Yeah.
like, oh,
Take it back
I hate it. I
immediately.
hate
No, here's the terrible thing: is their board games are actually solid.
yeah, they
I
have solid
believe
board
it.
games.
They're fun. There's a
Co.
yeah, right. So like yeah, it's I mean, it is what it is. They have IP. They have like all the IP. So a board game,
But this wasn't even an IP board game. It was
really,
like a wholly unique thing.
huh?
And it's
You
good.
remember
It was
what
an
it was?
interesting. I can't think of the name off the top of my head, but I still have the game. So
Yeah. They got their hands in everything.
and I wish. Oh my
Listen, everyone is big fans of Shaun of the Dead, and we want to see Shaun of the Dead characters running alongside Ramona Flowers.
And John Carpenter's
Voltron.
The Thing.
gosh. The only characters I want to see Shaun of the Dead running along with is characters from Hot Fuzz.
And
Yeah.
this, you could probably, I would bet, play as multiple Chris Pratts because he's been so many things. You could be at so many Chris Pratts.
That's true. That is.
I don't know
That
if
is
that's a-
probably a factual statement.
Yeah.
The details
Please.
on the because we're using polygons, everything announced there. It says it's an action adventure game, and to me it looked like a shooter, like a third person, like little fun shooter.
I
It didn't
don't.
look
I have no idea
Like
what the
I think
gameplay in
parts
this
of it
trailer
like a
was.
That's why I
Plants
said it
vs
looks like
Zombies.
a
It looked
Lego
like a
game.
Plants vs Zombies style shooter, like the Garden Warfare
Yeah.
type of thing.
I have no idea what the gameplay in this was. I think I've blocked out everything that.
Well, we could watch the trailer.
No, I don't
If
want
you wanna-
to. I don't want to see more of
I think we
this.
should talk more about
Oh
it.
my god! All I know is this isn't all I know, but one of the things I specifically remember was when the Jurassic Park. I think it was supposed to be,
Yeah, right there.
and it comes out of. It's some freakish looking dinosaur that comes out of a case and roars. And
That's
I thought,
Chucky.
Yeah, that was so. Oh,
And the way they half-heartedly say the Cylons from Battlestar Galactica. Listen,
can we move on, please? I don't
Please.
want to talk about Funko
Alright,
Pops.
yeah.
anymore.
it comes on September 13th. I'm really excited to play
Don't want
it
to talk about
with all of
this
my
game
friends.
anymore.
I'm really
September
excited.
13th. They should have released it 2 days earlier.
It's my son's birthday. It's going to be fun.
No,
We're going to get together on
no,
his
they
birthday.
should have released it 2 days earlier in memory of that other national tragedy.
September 13th is
A national,
anime national tragedy
It will
day.
now be a national
because
tragedy.
that's the day of the first
First
impact
impact.
for Neon Genesis Evangelion.
Right.
My friend reconciled me. He
Look,
he
that-
consoled me
that
that,
hasn't
even though
happened
my
yet.
son wasn't born on 9/11, it was born on anime 9/11.
Yeah.
It's good. Luigi's Mansion 2 HD. There's nothing to say here.
Woohoo.
This was
Yeah.
we could skip over this. This is useless
Yes.
compared to the previous game.
You know what?
Also-
Let's just scrap the rest of the news.
I don't want to talk about the Denpa Men either. This
Look.
was very unsettling.
Look. The I was like giggling when this trailer came out.
You're more excited for Denpa
No,
Men than
I-
running around as Chris Pratt?
It's yes. Did you know
course.
that
Oh, you've played a Denpa
I have
Man?
played
Of
the
course you
first
have.
Denpa Man.
Of
It
course
came
you
out
have.
on 3DS.
You were the first Denpa Man. And
This game was so weird. I don't remember anything about it except for the little me faces and these weird alien bodies. It was an RPG of all things. I don't know what the heck the new Denpaman is, but it's so. I was just laughing at the fact that the Denpamen were back, and I knew what they were. I recognized this property from having previously played it myself.
That's wild.
The Denpamen. Go look it up.
It comes out July 27th.
I think they said it was free to play.
I believe it. It looks like it. That's what.
The Denpamen. They came by wave.
Metal Slug Attack Reloaded.
Crazy that this is coming out before Metal Slug Tactics.
Yeah.
As in it shadow dropped or the day of the direct.
The Denpamen was an augmented reality game on 3DS. So you played it in the real world using the 3DS camera.
My
I love
word.
those AR games.
Ugh.
What a good time. What a great system.
Yeah, it was a perfect system.
It really was.
After the price drop. Before the price
Yeah.
drop. Darkest Dungeon 2. A lot of people love that first one. It wasn't for me, but I hope everyone gets...
That Metal Slug game looked neat. It is also a tower defense, which, as is
Previously discussed.
as is canon on this podcast, I am a fan of.
Yeah.
Also, for just everything I've read about Kunitsugami, everyone's like, this game is really neat, and it
I'll
seems
give
to
it a
seems
shot.
to be better than the headline is about it.
There's a Nintendo Switch Online update. Turok and Perfect Dark are added to the new mature
Yes.
17
They
plus,
created a separate app.
which existed in Japan already
Really?
Oh.
because GoldenEye
mature there?
was rated
Oh,
M
wow.
in Japan.
I didn't know that.
So
It was
this
like Sero
app,
17 or something?
as silly as it is, has already existed,
That's
just
interesting.
in Japan and
Yeah.
not in America.
And then we have Perfect Dark, which apparently it runs terribly on Nintendo's bad N64 emulator.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. Apparently, it's really bad, but
Yes.
I mean, I don't really play the N64 emulated
Yeah.
games.
You know what doesn't run
I would play
bad?
this.
I would like to try Perfect Dark.
It's a very fun game.
Yeah.
I
Metroid.
mean, it was at the time. I don't know.
Even
Especially using the N64 control scheme on a regular Joy-Con will work all that well, but
Right.
there is you could play it on Xbox with modern controls.
True.
So then Metroid Zero Mission and
Let's freaking go.
Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past: Four Swords.
Yeah.
I think we should play through this game.
I would
also
love
had
to.
that thought. It is
That's the first Zelda game I ever beat.
always funny to me. They have done it multiple times of releasing these re-releases of Super Nintendo games on Game Boy Advance, and they just sort of release them back onto the Game Boy Advance thing. They've done it with like the Super Mario Advance 1, 2, and 3, which
Yeah.
were like 3, 1, and 2, like in that order, I think. I might be wrong about that. And sure, some of them have extra stuff, and yeah, this has Four Swords, but it's so weird to me that they're just releasing these. Like, look, now you can play this game on this app
Yeah.
That's funny.
with fewer usable buttons. But this does have Four Swords.
Yeah. Which is great.
Yeah,
I love it. I
never played Four Swords.
Oh man, I had a blast with it. Also now with Zero Mission being on, well, actually, I guess this is already true beforehand. A version of every single mainline Metroid game is playable all on the Switch. But now we have the best version of the original Metroid to play.
Well, the best out of two. So
Yeah, I just think it's really cool.
Yeah, it is cool.
it's neat.
Yeah. If only we could get
Pretty
a
neat.
HD re-release of Samus Returns.
Yeah, that would be nice.
That would be really nice.
That game was
Yeah.
fun up until I couldn't play it anymore because my R button stopped working.
Oh no.
It didn't stop working, but it was
It was on its way out.
Yes, it was not reliable.
I had that happen to me back when on my like Game Boy Advances and my DS Lites when I would play through Mega Man 0 and ZX.
Yes.
Specifically the left shoulder button gave out, so I could not dash anymore. So I learned how to get really good with the double tap dash.
It was one of those where if I had to use it, I had to like press as hard and like rub my finger back and forth until I found the sweet spot where it would register the press.
Yeah.
And you really need the R button in Metroid and Samus Returns.
It's true.
It's how you aim.
That's
It's
that
tough
sounds
without it.
not good.
Yes.
I kind of blacked out on Phantom Brave: The Lost Hero.
Same.
This was a cool release. So Phantom Brave was a PS1 game.
Okay.
I think it's by the same people who
This
did
predates Disgaea then.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I remember this and another thing took me back to my emulation days when I was looking for random JRPGs to download, and this was always one. Since it was PlayStation, it was harder to do, so I don't think I ever played it. But yeah, this looked neat. You seem to play this girl who has the power to summon spirits and have them inhabit inanimate objects and use those to fight people. So I don't know. It looked neat to me.
Yeah, I mean it. There is usually just a couple of anime games or like anime-esque games that I end up...
I feel like there is a separation between anime games and just like Japanese. At least the one thing is this does come from a time where there weren't. I feel like there weren't as many anime games like on PlayStation 1. And so because I feel like it's unfair to call this an anime when it is in the line of a game that existed before the concept of anime games was around. But it is certainly Japanese animation. And so I can see how you could lump it in with those. And if you didn't know about the original game, you wouldn't have any idea, so...
I'm trying to find the full list of the games.
Yes, the next release is Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection Arcade Classics. We got Marvel vs. Capcom. We got Marvel vs. Capcom 2. We got Marvel vs. Street Fighter.
Yeah. We've got X-Men, Children of the Atom.
Yes.
I'm telling you, you just had it.
No, I didn't have it.
Listen,
It was-
go back
what
towards
is it?
the
What
end of the
there's
video.
also-
Right there. Like ish.
But
Also in it was what's the gun guy?
Like right before this. Punisher.
Punisher, which is instead of a fighting game, it seems to be a beat 'em up. But
yeah,
it's
so
also
that's the
there.
only one that is, because I don't think that was ever released on a console, but it was an arcade side-scrolling beat 'em up where you were Punisher and Nick Fury. That was the
that's funny. White Nick Fury or Black Nick Fury?
white Nick Fury.
Right. Black Nick Fury did not exist at the time.
I didn't think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this trailer doesn't have all 7 in one key art, which is weird.
There's 7. Interesting.
But yeah, so there's X-Men, Children of the Atom, Marvel Superheroes, X-Men versus Street Fighter,
Right.
Marvel Superheroes versus Street Fighter, MVC's 1 and 2, and then The Punisher.
I forgot that they did X-Men versus Street Fighter.
Yeah.
Before they
It was
opened
a long way before
all the
they
way
got to
all the way to Marvel.
versus Capcom.
And then it was like, we got all of Marvel on this side. Let's expand beyond Street Fighter.
Yeah.
It is weird
And
to
then
me.
it turned wacky.
I still maintain
Started making original characters for it.
it's weird to me that Marvel vs. Capcom 3 is not on here.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's weird to me and that it is not a 2D arcade fighting game.
Yeah.
I think
Also
Marvel vs. Capcom was MVC3 was a console release. I'm sure there are also arcade cabinets of it.
it's also readily available on Xbox and PlayStation. I believe Steam right now as well.
Yeah.
So for them to lump it in with this collection just so it could get on the Switch seems
I just think
like,
it,
would have
it's
been an odd
probably
move.
too
This
much.
game is almost 15 years old.
Yep.
But I think like it's not old enough for it to be a retro game that they're releasing on Switch, but it's also not recent enough for them to be remaking it wholesale for the Switch.
Yeah.
So it's just probably a lot more work to put that on the Switch than it is to put all of these other MAME files.
I'm just saying this.
I mean, I think it'd be cool for that game to be on Switch. I don't know that anyone would buy it. Especially, it's also I think harder because there's a more recent Marvel vs. Capcom.
But no one
game
likes
that-
it.
Yeah, no one likes it.
And everyone likes
No,
3.
Infinite sucks. That's why they re-released 3. It is
They should-
$7.49 on the PlayStation Network right now.
They should re-release it though. Put in more characters.
God.
Ultimate
I
Marvel
just
vs.
don't know
Nero.
what you then put that one on the Switch for $25. I don't know. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like,
I
if,
just think they can.
if you can throw Punisher in there, which is a completely different genre of game.
No, it's not about
That's-
the genre. They can just put like a MAME emulator and run the files of these games in that. I think that because like you can download all of these games and run them on an emulator. You can't do that with Marvel vs. Capcom 3. You'd have to, I think they would have to like basically remake the game to have it work on Switch.
Gotcha. Okay. I mean, it's possible. That's on me. I don't know. I think, we're far enough removed.
Yeah. I think it would be nice for sure to have it on there, but it's like, it's one of those games that just released.
And I like 2. I like 2 a lot.
Yeah, two is great.
I'm not saying it's
good
bad.
fun.
I love playing these games.
But it doesn't have 0. And 3
Yeah.
does.
Yeah, that's true.
And
also,
3 has Dante
and Virgil
and Virgil.
and X-23
Okay.
Like-
and Dormammu.
and Dormammu.
It does have
I
Dormammu.
did enjoy using Dormammu in that game. I was never good at. I'm not good at fighting games, but
No, I'm never
I did.
good.
You don't
I
have
did,
to
I
be.
did have fun playing.
I'm
3.
good at Marvel vs. Capcom 3 because of Captain America. I rule as
Oh
Captain
yeah.
America.
See, I'm more of a
'Cause I can
Captain
juggle.
Commando fan.
I can juggle everyone.
See, that's how I feel
rad.
about X-23 is that she's a rushdown character, so I was able to sweep house with her.
What about Morrigan?
No. I love Morrigan. She's one of my favorite characters ever. Hate playing as her in any game that I've ever touched her as. Like,
So what do you think made Disney play nice with Capcom? Or Capcom play nice with Disney?
this is definitely Disney was probably strong arming
Yeah,
before.
Because they both had to come to an amicable agreement with this.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
I-
they've done it before in making these games.
Yeah,
so I
but,
don't
you
think
know,
it's
there's been
like
a
out of
few-
the realm of possibility for this to exist.
No, but there's been a lot of changes on both companies,
that's true.
really. I think right
even
now,
since Infinite came out,
Disney and like Marvel's entertainment branch specifically is trying to get better quality games out there again. And part of that, I think, is just recognizing the good ones that they had before and releasing those again.
yeah.
Which
I
means
think-
I
I
hope
know
we get a
that-
Hulk Ultimate Destruction re-release someday.
I know that someone in our Discord was saying that this was a sort of collection that didn't seem like it would ever happen. But I do think that, like you said, the current version of Disney is probably the most likely version to have
Yeah.
okayed this coming out.
Which is also why I think on the comic side of things, we may get a new Marvel DC crossover in the next like 3 years.
Bring back
Yeah.
Amalgam.
Please.
Or
They're
Marvel versus,
re-releasing Amalgam later this year.
Marvel versus DC fighting game.
Dude,
I
imagine-
would kill. I would
Yes.
kill David.
What if it was Marvel versus the Injustice universe?
Ugh, God, don't do that.
No.
No.
Amalgam
boo.
versus Injustice.
Boo.
No. I
Dark
don't
Claw.
need more Injustice.
Yeah, but that's
I
their-
would take
that is-
Amalgam versus Wildstorm though.
But Injustice is like their DC fighting vertical, whether you like it or not. I
Yeah.
think that if we see more DC fighting, it's going to be Injustice characters.
It's going to be like, God, you're just going to see something dumb like Injustice versus Vertigo.
Injustice
something
versus the
it's-
MCU.
God.
Yeah, some like, yeah.
All the versions of these characters
Injustice
you
versus
hate.
MCU is exactly what we deserve.
Injustice,
as a species.
Injustice versus Watchmen, and it's gonna be just.
God.
Yeah, it's gonna be. Yeah.
Oh man, Injustice versus Watchmen.
I hate it here.
Yeah, this is a complete sidebar, but the trailer for that animated Watchmen movie that doesn't need to exist.
It doesn't need to exist. Just read the book.
Yeah, just
it got
read the-
re-released recently as part of DC's new Compact Comics line, which is basically the size of a manga tankabon.
Look, I don't think
Just
that.
read
I
that. It's
don't think-
$10 for 400
Here's the
freaking
thing.
pages.
I was gonna say this. I don't think that Watchmen should be this untouchable property.
It shouldn't be. Which
It's not
I
the
like-
Mona Lisa of
It's
comics.
not. I like
No.
the show though. The problem is, I'm gonna make this super quick. The original Watchmen story worked because of the medium it was told in and talking
Right.
about. When you adapt Watchmen, you need to adapt
And
it
the Zack
into
Snyder
those
movie
different
was good.
mediums.
But
And
here's
it
the problem
misses
is
the point though.
Yeah, I agree with that. And also, you talk about adapting Watchmen is what every single comic book did
For
after
the next
Watchmen
30
came out.
years,
Yeah.
we are finally breaking away from it. Thank
And-
God.
But
And
we're
as
not.
much
We're
as-
going back to the well.
DC is
As much as people hated Doomsday Clock, I think that
me included.
I hated Doomsday
the
Clock.
intentions of it were good, and that it was like in the end, Superman won because
He's a more timeless concept.
right, and he didn't want to kill. Like he didn't see these things. What's his Dr. Manhattan as like this evil guy?
Yeah, or it's like competition or
Right.
anything. Like it's all part of.
and Dr. Manhattan could not picture that reality as
Right.
Yeah,
existing.
he could not see beyond that moment in time.
And so I think that I didn't actually read all Doomsday Clock. I think I read about half
The
of
12th
it.
issue is the best issue
Yeah.
because it has a bunch of just DC wanking off.
Right, but I do think that the intentions of it were to be like, can we move on? Can we move beyond what Watchmen unintentionally turned?
Watchmen and The Dark Knight Returns
Yes.
turned the industry into.
Yes.
Agreed.
Yeah, I mean, I get it.
And it was like, all right, let's bring these characters in and kill them all. They didn't kill them all, but it's just like let's
Send them off.
yes.
Yeah.
And I think the next game we're talking about is doing a similar thing, where they're going to bring 20 people into a game of Mario Party.
This trailer was insane.
This had to have been DLC for Super Mario Party that got too big and they turned into a game.
maybe.
Can I
This
assume
is-
that you both were like pumping the air when
I
this
was-
trailer started?
I was
'Cause
excited.
I was
Okay.
dreading it
I
because
was
I
ex-
know that we're gonna play this, and I know that
Hold
I'm
on.
gonna get screwed over.
I was
again.
excited, and then they said 20 players.
Yes.
You saw all the characters lined up, and I was like, "Excuse me, yes,
Yes.
20."
this kind of. So first, it was regular Mario Party. We got 5 new boards. They said the most
With
mini
2
games.
returnings,
The most mini games of anything, and
over 110.
I mostly don't care about the mini games. Like I think they're fun. I find the board shenanigans to be more
Yes.
fun to me, and so, but we get 5 new boards and 2 returning boards. I think 7 boards is a respectable number, versus like what we got in previous things, and then they go off the rails in this. Like it's not like Mario Party, but a battle royale. But it is something in that vein where
Yeah.
there are 20 people competing simultaneously,
Uh-huh.
and not necessarily mini games. There's definitely some kind of board that's involved here.
Yes, and you have to complete 5 laps, whatever that
Yeah.
means.
And then they're like, there's also other modes. They tease this one with like this giant Bowser. I don't.
Yep.
It's a very fun trailer. It made me excited.
We got 3 Mario parties on the Switch.
Yeah.
We're blessed.
crazy.
And we got all of the ones on the 64.
Yeah. Oh, what a system. That's coming October 17th. That's a day 1 purchase, and I'll set up a community day or
and
something.
a day 1 Force to play.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
And a day 1 victory for me.
The Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom.
Yeah, this is
a
big,
trailer
okay.
that had me losing my mind, thinking it was going to be a new
Like
Link Between Worlds or
same.
something.
Well, it sort of is.
I know,
In a
but
way.
like I was excited for one thing and then ended up excited for
Yeah,
another.
I was.
Yeah, yeah.
I was excited because at first I was like, "Ooh, is this going to be the Oracle's game?" And
Oh,
it
yeah.
wasn't. And then at one point I thought, well, I didn't know what to think, because it's clearly the art style that was in Link's Awakening.
Yes.
And it's that Link, and he's fighting against Ganon. And I was trying to read, what Ganon is this? I think that's Link to the Past Ganon. It might be original Ganon. I don't know. And then something weird happens where he beats Ganon and then gets sucked into a hole,
The goo.
a darkness goo hole. I hate to get sucked into one of those.
Yeah. I wouldn't.
I'd welcome it.
Yeah.
But
You know.
Zelda gets it. He shoots the crystal that
Yeah,
Zelda's
Zelda's
in.
trapped in a crystal.
Link shoots it on his way
Shoots
down,
it with an arrow.
and he breaks her out.
Breaks her out, and so she returns to the castle and it's like me. Whatever.
Well, first
With
she
a
gets.
honk shoe.
Hold on. First she gets her Breath of the Wild.
Yeah,
moment.
she gets her Breath of the Wild look out under the vista of Link to the Past world. And I'm pretty sure this is a Link to the Past world.
Yeah.
My first inclination, they showed one of the Zoras, which is clearly Link to the Past Zora, but then there's people on Twitter have screen grabbed that Breath of the Wild moment, and they're very clearly landmarks from the Link to the Past map. But also it seems like there's stuff that's not there, so it might be an expanded version of that world, which is neat.
We love to see more of it.
So my guess is that this is the immediate aftermath, like immediately after A Link to the Past, and you are Zelda. We finally get to play Zelda, but she doesn't have a sword.
She has the Tri-Rod.
She has a Tri-Rod, which also makes me wonder if this was ever an Oracle's thing.
I
Because
know.
it
I
gave me
know.
very much. It's like, this reminds me of the Rod of Seasons.
Yep.
It's not, of course. It is a rod which copies things like
Which
desks
is cool.
and beds
And monsters.
and Octoroks. Yeah, so Zelda, instead of swinging a sword around, she swings the Tri-Rod to copy things. So it seems like it'll probably be like more puzzle forward for sure. There was a thing with her stacking a bunch of beds up to climb up and hop over a fence, which was neat. Since we didn't have a lot of vertical movement in Link to the Past, we did in Link Between Worlds.
Yeah.
I would like for them to remake that game. I don't know if I would want it to be in this art style.
No.
But yes, this is a new. We get a new top-down Zelda featuring Zelda for the first time. They've all featured Zelda,
And
but
yet
you
they
can
don't
play as
call
Zelda.
this game The Legend of Link.
Yeah, it's true.
That's true.
It should be
You know the last time we got to play Zelda in a game?
Hyrule Warriors.
CDI game. Was it a CDI?
Okay, yeah, I meant to say the first time. It was, yes, Zelda,
CDI,
The Wand of
yes.
Gamelon.
And this game does have side-scrolling in it, like Link's Awakening did. And when I saw that was my thought. It's like, oh look, it's Wand of Gamelon.
Yeah.
And she's got a wand. She's got the
Uh-huh.
tri
It's got a
wand.
rod. It's a Tri-Rod.
Whatever.
The Rod of Gamelon.
Yeah, I'm really
Zelda.
excited for this.
Duke
It's-
Conklin's under attack.
I'm
evil
wondering.
forces of
I'm
Ganon.
wondering where this is gonna.
I'm going to Gamelon
Be in
to
the
aid
timeline.
him. If you don't hear from me in a month, send Link.
Link.
You'll.
But father! Enough. My ship leaves in the morning. I wonder what's for dinner.
Listen. Where is this gonna be
A whole
in
month
the,
gone and still
the
no
timeline?
word.
Where's it gonna be in the timeline? The Hyrule Historia
I
was
think
a
it's
mistake.
going to be directly after
Hyrule Toy Story
Link to
was
the
a
Past.
mistake.
Hyrule Historia was a mistake. Where's this gonna be? Does it split
It's-
off a new timeline?
I think it's directly after A Link to the Past, and we don't have to worry about it.
All right, we'll see.
Because
Link might die and never come back.
Well, so Link Between Worlds was years after.
Yeah. It
Link
was
to
a
the Past.
it was
so
a
that,
whole different.
that gives
Link.
us some working room here.
Yeah, we'll see. September 26th. once again, another game that zero clue.
Yeah.
A Hyrule Edition Switch Lite
Yep.
looks rad.
Nintendo loves their Hyrule Edition consoles.
They do, and they always look pretty good.
Yeah.
Just Dance we can skip.
I still wish that I had the. If only the freaking backplate of the Tears of the Kingdom
yes,
Switch.
yes,
Mm.
yes.
That's all I wanted.
Lego
Wanted to steal it.
Lego Horizon
I
Adventures.
wanted to buy it and then take off the backplate and then return it.
That's not how that works.
I would have switched it with the one for my Switch.
That's
And
still.
no one would know.
They would.
They would not. They would have been like, "Oh, this is weird," and then they would have taken it anyway.
So Lego Horizon Adventures,
Honestly, I
Stray,
probably could have scalped it, sold it on eBay. Then what are they gonna do about it?
Yeah.
Tales of the Shire, a Lord of the Rings
Yeah,
game,
this is weird.
which is Hobbit,
Hobbit Life
Dreamlight
Sim.
Valley.
Did you say Stray? I forgot that game starts with the cat falling in a hole and,
Yeah.
and being lost from its family.
Yeah.
Made me
It's very sad.
That game is fine. It's not really that sad. It's also not a good game, but whatever.
But
it's
a cat falling in a hole is sad.
it
I'm with
gets
Seth
a,
on this.
it gets a found family with. I feel much less for cats
Does
than
it
both of you.
does it
so
ever find
it's-
does it
true.
find its actual family again, or does it just leave with the robots?
No, but it
forever?
makes a new family. That's the
It's
point.
sad.
Ace Attorney Investigations Collection. Now
sick.
all the Ace Attorney games are on Switch.
Yeah,
I'm gonna buy.
you know, I have one of them.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna buy
but-
the first one because it's $10 on the eShop.
Nice.
So I'm gonna buy that tomorrow.
I guess Capcom's just having a crazy sale right now.
They are.
Well, there was a
They
huge sale
always
going
are,
on.
honestly.
Yeah.
A new game from the Danganronpa people.
Yes.
Horizon
This
100
again.
line
This is also
Last Defense Academy.
this game also looks nuts.
I don't
There's
know if it's in a good way. I don't think it looks interesting.
I don't really know what's happening in the actual gameplay, but
I thought it just was another Danganronpa game because it
I
looks,
did think it was
'cause it looks
another
like it's
Da-
dealing with like the same concept.
oh yeah, I mean that's what they do. I still want to play Rain Code, which is their sort of more open world RPG version of what Danganronpa is. You know, they always have crazy mysteries in schools, and in this one, the world seems to have been overtaken by weird, not zombies, but they're kind of blob monsters. And then everyone gets teleported into this school. And you have these weird battles. Apparently, there's 100 characters and any of them can die based on your choices.
It's
It's their typical fare of visual novel and also gameplay.
yeah.
Some type of gameplay. It looks cool to me.
Yeah, I mean I bet.
But
I'm-
I also could not tell you what's happening in the what is it called?
The 100 line Last Defense Academy.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
a heck of a
It's
title.
quite a title, yeah.
The next one was Romancing Saga 2, Revenge of the Seven.
So now this was another game that took me in my mind back to my days of my
Emulation
emulation days. This was
Okay.
also another one that I always saw the name of it like on the ROM sites. I was like, I don't know what this is. But it had
And why is Saga spelled like
yes, I never played it, but I know that Saga was one of those games that always had these striking, like screenshots where you have these tiny party of heroes against these gigantic flamboyant sprites of enemies that look cool. This trailer definitely had me interested in the game, especially, but I think probably because of my past knowledge
I was
of
about to
Saga
say.
as a concept.
Yeah.
But I think it's a cool setup, and that you are the emperor or whatever, and you have to fight against these 7 heroes that have turned against you. I don't really know. I don't know that they showed a whole lot of what the actual game was in this trailer, but
I don't see 7 people behind them. I only see 6. Maybe
I
you
imagine
are the
those are not
seventh.
the 7. The 7 are the enemies.
Yeah, maybe I don't know. Possible.
Yeah.
This is another thing where like my eyes just glaze over when I start to see.
One thing about this, I was thinking about this because it also made me think of what was it called? The mana game that was most recently released.
Visions of Mana.
No. That's the one that's upcoming.
I keep doing this.
I don't know. Legend of Mana? I don't know. It was the one that was a remake.
Secret of Mana?
No. It was a 3D remake of Seiken Densetsu 3. It's a Super Nintendo game. Never came out here until they released the Mana Collection. And then they made a 3D remake of that game. I played Seiken Densetsu 3 on the SNES 9X emulator using a fan translation.
Yes, sir.
It's a cool game. And I also played a bit of the 3D remake. And let me tell you, the original was cool. The 3D remake stunk. And I think when you transition these very singular, like every era of like old consoles when they were in using sprite art, they sort of have their own look. And
Right.
but I think Super Nintendo especially has a very singular look of its sprite art. And I think there is like a danger of losing some of the character of a game when you remove that and move it into sort of bland looking 3D. So all I'm saying is I hope that this game is able to overcome that. Because I never played Saga, but I do remember the screenshots and I'm like, that looks cool.
Yeah.
And it looks like a cool Super Nintendo game. And I don't know, hopefully they do it justice here.
I hope so. I don't know if I'm sure I'll hear you talk about it.
That was one of the cool things about like the Live Alive remake is that they did it in HD 2D, and so they were able to sort of keep the visual character of the game, but also sort of expand the world.
Man, that game had character. I tried.
Had a lot of characters.
Yeah.
I tried really hard. I can't remember where it lost me, but it was.
It lost me at the end of the main game, and then there's like that extra, like
I think
episode
I had
at the
one,
end, and I could not get through
I
that.
think I had one chapter to do before I got to the end bit, but I never finished it.
Yeah. Same.
It was a neat game though. We all enjoyed the stuff that we played of it.
Yeah.
And then.
The coup de grace, if you will.
Yeah.
Yes, sure, if you want to say it that
If
way.
you will.
And I do want to say it that way.
Metroid Prime 4 Beyond.
Yeah. Finally, it came back.
It's real.
It's real. Hell is real.
It's coming out
2024.
next year.
Coming out next year.
Probably alongside the Nintendo Switch 2.
That seems likely.
I think this is going to be the cross-generational title, like how Breath of the Wild was.
So, I don't know what it is about the visuals of this game. I think it looked good, but I don't know that it looked like... It didn't look like the old games to me. Like, there's something about the way it looked. And, of course, this was just a trailer. I'm sure it'll look really good in, like, actual motion. But it seemed, like, sort of off to me in the way that, like, the Dragon Age thing was. Like, this doesn't quite look the way I remember it. Especially with them just having remastered Prime 1.
Yeah.
But that's neither here nor there because it still looked good. And the gameplay of what we saw looked very faithful to it.
It did look slower.
It had
like,
scanning. It had
scanning.
locking onto enemies.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They showed all the right stuff.
They did.
It looked very hectic around you.
Mm-hmm.
You got to turn into a ball.
Mm-hmm.
You got to see Silex. You know,
Yep. The classic,
possibly
the
Samus's
classic
brother.
villain, the classic Metroid the iconic character from the DS only Metroid Prime Hunters.
Hey, he was in a post cutscene of Metroid Prime 3
Yes, we all know.
and a post cutscene
of the iconic
of the iconic Metroid or
Federation Force.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That was, I think, that was the entire purpose of Federation Force.
was this
Was to have the post-credit scene of Psylocke stealing a baby Metroid.
Oh my god.
Because before that, the creator had said in an interview that he wanted to do a future game about Psylocke. So clearly, he designed this character and was like, I got this cool backstory
Cool
made up in
idea.
my head.
Yeah.
And if I ever get the chance, I'm going to make this game. But then he's making Metroid Other M. It's like, what are you doing, you idiot?
This-
This-
we
I
don't
don't
gotta
know.
worry about that.
But yeah,
Not
it
anymore.
is retro making it. Of course, a different retro, different retro than the original Metroid Prime games.
But still,
And we all know that after they got the game restarted development at one point.
I think, and this is totally a crackpot theory, I think it restarted development twice or thrice.
Could be, who knows? It has been in the oven for quite a long time.
Yeah. And it's still not coming out for it, like it just has a vague date of 2025.
yeah,
Like,
but
there's-
it could be like The thing is, like,
Yeah.
it's
Who
just
knows?
depending.
I
on,
think it's probably still in that winter timeline because it has to release on Switch, and we know that the Switch 2. Well, we don't know, but we we are theorizing that the Switch 2 is probably going to be unveiled at some point in the year and then come out early next year.
yeah.
So I think we're still definitely in the first few months of 2025.
Yeah. Because the big rumor was that the reason Switch 2 got pushed back was because the Mario game wasn't ready. And they want the Mario game for the new Switch.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
And so Metroid is a perfect cross-generational title to get the rest of the people.
Who knows what Beyond means?
It's
We didn't really know what the title of Echoes meant until playing the game, and the title of Corruption was pretty obviously about Phazon.
Yeah.
If you had played the previous two games, so we don't know what Beyond means, but the logo does
we all know
look
that Hunters is about all
Hunters.
the other hunters
yes,
that you
Yes.
fight.
it's about other bounty
Yes.
hunters.
Oddly enough,
Though I wouldn't say that was a subtitle. I think the whole title was Metroid Prime Hunters. No subtitle in there.
I'm just saying.
So you're saying this is about the Beyond Corporation from Marvel Comics?
Maybe
Oh, yeah.
it's possible.
Yeah,
Ben
Psylocke
Reilly?
is actually Ben Riley.
Well, actually, that's in line with what he's currently doing in the comics right now.
Yeah, I was reading. I went on the Marvel wiki the other day and was reading about his escapade since he became
As
Chasm. And it seems like poor Ben Riley. They don't know what to do with him except hurt him.
I can say that about a lot of characters.
The reason I was reading about it is because I read an article comparing Miles Morales' new turn as a vampire to what they did with Ben Riley, and they were spinning it as a good thing, and I was like, this doesn't seem like a great thing. But
It's
anyway,
called copium.
But anyway, the logo here does remind me of the interstellar black hole.
It does, yeah. It does
Oh.
look like a black hole.
Yeah.
And I don't know how that could play out. I know that, like the old retro talked about how they had an idea of like a full galaxy that they wanted. They had an idea of Samus being like an actual bounty hunter and taking on missions across multiple planets in a galaxy. So who knows if something of that shows back.
Yeah, I was gonna ask if the other ones went to different planets.
I think in Corruption there was something like that. But
Okay.
yeah, I know that you got in your gunship to go from location to location. But 2 was all on one planet.
Okay.
But
So
it had
can't
light
be-
and dark ether.
But it can't be beyond in that aspect,
Yeah.
because they've been to other planets. So
But who knows?
I don't know. I'm very excited for this.
I have no idea no inkling what it could even be about, because the whole 1, 2, and 3 they were about Phazon and Dark Samus, but all that ended at the end of 3. So this is whole new territory.
It's obviously going to be about reconciling with her brother,
Yeah.
Silex.
We don't know that it's her brother. We don't know that she has a brother.
We do know that
I
she
don't know,
has a brother.
Samus,
That is canon.
Silex.
And
She
what-
does have a brother.
And what is it canon from?
The manga, that is canon.
That's that I don't know that you can say that that's canon.
So
I think it there are parts of that manga that do not work with the stories that are told in the game. So calling that canon, I don't know if it's true.
I don't know. We'll
Also,
see.
I don't think it was created by the creator of Metroid. So I don't know why he would consider using story beats from that.
There's things that weren't created by George Lucas that are canon in Star Wars.
I guess so.
It's whoever is running things to make decisions.
But he's the guy who created Metroid is still making decisions.
That's fair. But we'll see.
I think if it is Samus's brother, it's probably not going to be the same brother from the manga.
That's possible, but I'll still be
She'll have
technically
a
correct.
second brother.
I would say the Ridley
Both
from
canonical.
the manga was absolutely vicious. Like torturing Samus's parents in
Yeah.
front of her,
Yeah.
giving her PTSD, which was the worst part of Metroid Other M, by the way.
Oh, so it did show up in the games then. So, I mean, whatever, man.
I've talked myself into a corner.
Yeah, just a little bit.
But yeah, I mean, I'm just excited for more Metroid stuff. I really want for them to release 2 and 3 so I can play them, because
Same.
I never played them on the Wii. I'm not gonna go buy a Wii U, so I can't play them.
And you'd have a heck of a time trying to actually find a copy of Collection on the Wii U anyway.
Oh,
Right.
I would say just hack your Wii U at that point.
Yeah, but the thing is, like,
I'm so mad that at some point in my I had Metroid Prime Collection on the Wii and I got rid of it at some point.
Foolish
I-
man.
It was, yeah,
I
it was-
think I
it
can
was a
get
dumb-
them running on my Retroid, but I don't know.
maybe 2.
I've heard that they both run well, but I don't know if I want to play them that way. That's the
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah.
I
It's
also
such a small
I also
screen.
know that 3 used motion controls.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the Wii had a stationary controller that you could use. Maybe, I don't know. It had
I don't
it
remember.
had a
Yeah.
It sucked, but
Yeah,
it had
real
one.
bad.
God, yeah.
Shout out to the Switch Pro controller.
What a controller.
It near perfection.
Yeah. I'm with you. It's great. I was going to use it on Metroid Prime. Hopefully the Switch 2 works with them. Because I've got
Fingers
some
crossed.
really cool ones that I don't want to get rid of.
Yep.
But all right, was there anything else?
It would be
Devastating. Devastating is the word you're looking for.
No, I'm saying it would be it would definitely be like, okay, I guess not the first time, because you could use Xbox One controllers on Series X, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
You
guess
can
it,
even use DualSense controllers on the Series S.
so I guess
Any
it,
Bluetooth
Which
controller.
is-
I guess it
crazy.
wouldn't be unprecedented for a console to carry over its controllers from the previous generation, but it's certainly something.
Can't do that on
I mean-
the PlayStation 5, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess technically the Wii.
The Wii let you use GameCube controllers but that was mostly
But that was for emulating
playing for
the-
GameCube
yeah, for playing
games, yeah,
GameCube games.
and Brawl.
And I guess you did use the Wiimote on Wii U.
Yeah.
So maybe it's not out of the realm of possibility, I guess.
Yeah, I'm nervous about
But
it.
if they don't like drastically change the control scheme, I don't see why they couldn't do it.
If anything, it's a Bluetooth controller and I can use it on my iPad.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'll just do that. I want to be able to use them.
Yeah.
They're great.
They're
Yeah,
great.
They're good. They're good controllers for sure.
Was there anything else y'all wanted to talk about? No, there was nothing really this week
No.
besides the
Mm,
direct.
yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah. Not a light week, but it is a.
You know, ready for Shadow of Erdtree?
I don't know. I'm not gonna get it. I keep going back and forth, but
Yeah, everything I've been reading makes me want to play it, but I know that I'm not.
the Eurogamer review made me not want to play it at all.
Mm.
And it's only because it's like, this is good and it's satisfying, but it also is hard for hard's sake and not in a satisfying way at times.
Yeah.
And I
That's
don't need that, especially because I'm going to have to do some legwork to even get
back
into the
swing of
DLC.
it.
No, because I haven't beat.
Oh, you haven't beaten Moog yet.
No, I know I didn't.
Dang. I forgot that
Yeah.
like I genuinely went above and beyond with
I
this
think
game.
that probably would be the highest barrier of entry. If I hadn't beaten Moog,
Yeah.
I don't know that I would be able to work back up to being able to fight him because he was a pain.
He was a real pain.
But everyone says that everything in the DLC is as hard or not,
Yeah.
like
That's true.
as
I-
Moog.
I
So
would
it's
say
just
that-
like,
That is pretty par for the course, I would say, with FromSoft's DLCs for these
Yeah.
games. Is that they're all
and
pretty much harder. Like they are literally like whatever you're supposed to do after you've already done everything else, pretty much.
and the other thing that I read was that like the level like recommendations is like level 120
Oh crap!
to 1.
But see, I've
150.
read that the new area has its own leveling system.
Yeah, that's what I've heard, but then there's recommendations that say 120. So what am I supposed to go off of? And I know that I'm almost 100% sure I was not at 120
Yeah.
when I finished Elden Ring.
Yeah,
So I don't know.
I don't even remember what I was at, and
I've heard a lot of
farmed,
great
too.
things. I just don't. Yeah.
I just want to know what the deal with Mesmer is.
And
I'll
yeah,
let
but
you
I can
know.
watch a YouTube video. That's the thing. Like at the end of the day, the stuff that I'm
That's
curious
true.
about, I'll watch a YouTube video on.
That's fair.
Because I was listening to Dan talk about it on Giant Bomb this week, and he's like, I've loved it. And he goes, but I have hit points where I had to go back and farm to level up to be able to handle some of the stuff.
Yeah,
And it's like, hold on. This is a character you've beat the game with already, but you had to go and farm to even interact with the content. And I don't know if I'm interested in doing that.
that's fair.
And it's not because of disinterest. I love Elden Ring, and I am wanting to interact with it more, but not on
It's
that
just-
level.
Yeah, especially with
Not in that way.
barrier to entry.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
If it came out
I think-
6 months after I beat Elden Ring, then heck yeah.
Probably.
But that's years now.
I think
Yeah, they
you
made
would
a whole
have-
game size DLC.
Yeah, I heard it was basically the size of like a Dark Souls,
Yeah.
which is crazy to me. But yeah, I think you would have a better time if you did go back to Elden Ring, just beating the base game stuff that you didn't get around to
Right.
yet.
Yeah. I would almost have a better time doing that.
Yeah.
But the problem is now there's no way that Elden Ring is ever going to be on sale because the price is going to stay up because of the DLC now.
Yeah.
So
Unless
it's-
if they do a re-release of it with the
Oh, they
Erdtree
did.
expansion.
They
like
are,
anything.
but it's $80.
Yeah, so what I'm saying though is that you could get. I wouldn't be surprised if base game Elden Ring copies could go on sale though because of that.
It's possible, but I don't know.
Yeah. I feel like that's what happened with Dark Souls 3. But then also Dark Souls 3 Fire Fades edition goes on sale a bunch.
But I'm also not gonna. I'm not gonna go
Much
back.
older game.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go back.
Yeah. Well, I mean even like within a year. of
If
it coming
anything, what I might do is play Sekiro.
out. Good man.
game.
I haven't done it yet.
It was my goatee.
I know I haven't done it yet.
True.
And
Goaty with the sauce.
I need to. I think
It's a great game.
I've been itching to play a Souls-like game, and they're not pushing anything in the Lies of P area. And
Thing about Sekiro, there's no leveling up in it.
that's interesting.
It's all skill.
Yep.
That's exciting to me. That's actually exciting because builds terrify me.
Yeah.
No,
So,
no,
like-
no other weapons, just your sword.
Yeah, rad.
And a
I-
few gadget things here and there.
That makes me actually way more excited to play it.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, that is one of the things that, like, paralyzed me a lot in Elden Ring was am I putting the right things in the right spot? And
Yeah.
Yep,
stuff like that. So,
You know, it's funny.
that is funny.
Hidetaka Miyazaki has been having a bunch of interviews lately,
It's funny.
and he said something in them that was like the fact that people still like need guides to play through our games shows that our game design is not like as good as it could be, and I'm like that's such a like interesting take on like his concept for how he designs games because I think he makes good games. But there certainly are parts that are completely like
Obtuse.
extremely obtuse.
how does he not
if
see
you
that they're
don't-
obtuse, though, when they're making them? That's the insane part.
Well, he probably does, but like I think maybe he's softening on the idea over time now, and is like, oh yeah, I guess like we could probably make things a little more easier or
I
just
don't-
more
it's-
recognizable to
right.
the
I
player.
don't think it's even about like
Ease.
ease. It's more about like showing players what they are supposed to do in the game,
Yeah.
instead of making it hard to decipher what's going on.
Right.
But yeah, Sekiro is a good one
It's
for sure.
I'm probably gonna play it because I've been itching to play a game like that, and Lies of P, and you know we're not getting another FromSoft game for a while. I don't think.
I don't know. They've gotten big enough as a studio now that they can put out.
There is
Projects-
no telling.
That's true. Is there any like big Armored Core 6 DLC planned?
I have no clues.
Because if not, then like that team is free to start working on something else. Then
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Who's to say?
But with that, we appreciate you listening. Probably going to take a break next week and then come back the
Unless
week
there's
after.
a Nintendo Direct.
Unless there's something huge that happens. Just because of, I think that I don't know what I'm doing this weekend, but I think there's a lot going on. So who knows? But we appreciate you listening as always, and we will talk at you later. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
See ya.